Hello everyone, myself Sanat Kumar Swai, Assistant Professor at Vedang Institute of Technology, Bhubaneswar, and I'll be taking the class in the organizational behavior. So we'll be discussing about the five stages of the five-stage models of group development. Okay, what is the five stages in the models in the group development in the organizational behavior. Okay, particularly we'll be going through few slides and also few examples. We'll try to see few examples and how that is helpful in the Indian context. Okay, Indian market context we'll be trying to see. Okay, so the five-stage model. Okay, five-stage model of group development. So what do you mean by five-stage model of group development? How did the five-stage model of group development came into play? So the five-stage model of group development, it was been given, this theory was been given by Bruce Tuckman in 1965. Okay, it was given by Bruce Tuckman in 1965. Okay, so why he thought the need of this five-stage model? What was the important? Why he thought that this is an important stage model, five-stage model? Because it tries, this model tries to outline the typical stages that groups goes through as they develop and mature. So if there is a group, okay, when they are going to develop, okay, let's say there's a group, okay, so there are certain stages, okay, so when they are going to develop and mature, okay, so let's say this is a group and group is going to develop and mature itself gradually. So there are certain stages through which they are going to go through. So we'll be going through that, all the stages, and we'll see how it is important in the Indian organizational perspective. Okay. The first one is forming. What do you mean by forming? To form. Okay. So forming means when a group is been formed. So what happens when there is a group is been formed? What happens? You don't know each. Let's say, for example, you don't know your group members, and you have been asked to form a group. So what happens when there is in the initial stage of formation of a group? What happens? Because none of them they know each other, so they get acquainted. They get acquainted, get to know each other. Who is who? Who is in my team? Who is in my group? Okay. So what happens when they get acquainted with each other? They often try to show a polite behavior. They often exhibit polite behavior. Okay. And they try to understand that what is the importance of that particular group, why that particular group has been created, and what their roles will be, what roles they are going to be offered in that particular group. Okay. So let's see an example. So let's consider a newly formed project team in an Indian IT company. So there's an Indian IT company and a newly formed team or a group has been created. Now what happens is that those team members, they gather for their first meeting. Okay. Exchange pleasantries and discuss the project's objectives. So they are going to discuss their project's objective. That's what exactly they are going to do in that particular team. What roles they will be offered in that group or team. Okay. So what happens that they might express their excitement about working together, but they also feel a bit uncertain about their specific responsibility. So they are not, they're excited that yes, the team has been formed. Now, they also feel uncertain that what kind of roles and responsibilities they are going to be offered in that particular group. So this is all about the process called forming. Okay, when a group is been formed. Okay. When a group is been formed, the entire procedure is known as forming. Next, storming. What do you mean by storming? A group has already been formed. Storm. Storming comes from storm. So what happens when there is a storm? When there is a storm, what actually happens? What actually happens? Chaos. Chaos. Yes or no? When there is a storm, there's a lot of chaos. Okay. So exactly when there is a storm, when there is a lot of chaos. Similarly, in case of the storming session, there's a lot of conflicts. There's a lot of disagreements. They may not agree to a common topic, a common cause, because each of the members, they have their own opinions, they have their own views. So what happens is that there is a conflict. A conflict starts in the group, and sometimes it does happen that they get deviated from the group's goals or direction. They get deviated, and in that group, what happens? They vie for influence and control. Everybody wants their own influence. Everybody wants their own control within that group. So definitely there will be conflict. Definitely there will be disagreements among the group members. Okay. Okay. So if we are looking at that example with that same IT project company, okay, that project team, okay. So initial stage, everybody agreed, everybody was excited that there is a group which has been created, and they were also what kind of roles they will be apprehensive of their roles which they are going to be offered. But in the second part, when there is a storming part, conflict starts. Okay. So what happens is that the project timeline, what kind of conflicts will happen in this particular project IT team, and what will be the project timeline. Okay. Next is resource allocations, whether the resource has been allocated properly or not, and what is the best approach to solve the technical problem. One of the team member, he may agree for A, some may agree for B, some may agree for D, and so on and so forth. So what would be the best approach to solve that particular technical problem? It may be A, it may be B. So everybody gives their own opinion and views. Moreover, there is also cultural differences. Okay. The way you communicate in that team or in that group, or hierarchy. There may be an hierarchical team in that particular group, which also contributes to tension among the team member. So these all issues, they create conflict and disagreements in the group. So this is the storming session. Okay. Next, norming. What do you mean by norming? Norming comes from norms. And norms means certain rules and regulations. What is a norm? Norms mean certain rules and regulations. Okay. So let's say after the storming session is over, or let's say when the conflicts is over or is resolved, then group cohesion starts. Okay. So group cohesion starts. What do we mean by group cohesion? Togetherness. Okay. We feeling. There is a bonding. Once the conflict is over, then there is a group cohesion start. And norms and standards of the behavior are being established. What should be the norms? What should be the behavioral? What should be the standard? What should be the rules and regulations of that particular group? It is been established. So what happens in the next? That the group members, they start to accept their roles and responsibilities. Yes, this is my responsibility. This is my role. I have to work accordingly to my roles, rules and goals and responsibilities. Okay, and simultaneously the teamwork improves. In the second part, there was no teamwork, but in the third part, the teamwork improves. Okay, so let's say after resolving the initial conflict, the IT project team, they are in the norming stage, which means they develop shared norms. They develop shared norms for various kinds of communication, various kinds of decision making process, and also for the problem solving, if there is any. Okay, so what happens in this particular stage, that they also establish regular meetings, assign task based on individual strength and collaboration. Lot of collaboration happens in this norming session. Okay, as because there is no conflict and all the conflict has been resolved in the previous stage. The norming stage means certain norms are being established. Okay, next, performing. So once norms are being established, then comes the performing stage. Okay, so in this stage, what happened? The team member, they perform to the best of their ability, highest ability, and they ensure that the efficiency and productivity are being kept intact. All the group members, they engage themselves. How they are engaged? Through cohesiveness, togetherness, and they focus on the group's goal. What is the group's goal? They focus on that particular objective. So if you see example in that particular IT project team, what happens is that all the team members, they work seamlessly. Okay, and they try to help each other's expertise to meet the project timeline or project milestone. In this performing stage, they communicate openly, they trust each other's judgment, and also proactively address any challenges that arise. So what happens is that there is a sense of belongingness, a sense of teamwork in the performing stage, and this stage often leads to innovation and high quality outcomes. So definitely when the teamwork, if there is a teamwork in that particular team, then definitely it will lead to various kinds of innovation and also various kinds of quality outcomes. Yeah. Next is adjourning or mourning. So once that performing stage is over, once the performance has been done, then comes the adjourning or mourning. So what happens is that in this stage, what happens that the project is coming to an end. Project is coming to an end. So what happens is that they try to wrap up the project. Okay. So In the previous stages, when the group members, they were feeling that they are part of a team, they're part of a family. In this particular stage, what happens that this experience a sense of loss as they say goodbye. As because the project is coming to an end, so they are going to say goodbye to their colleagues and reflect on their shared experiences. Okay. So what happens if we see an example? So after successfully completing the project, the IT team members may celebrate their achievement and express gratitude for their collaboration. So definitely they are going to celebrate their achievements and express their gratitude for the various kinds of collaboration in the team. But they also share lessons which they learn and bid farewell to the colleague who may be moving to other projects or who may be moving to other roles within the company or maybe from the other companies. Okay, so this stage particularly, it becomes bittersweet. It becomes bittersweet because in the past stages, you see there is conflict. They form the group. After that, there is a conflict which arises in the group, and after that, the conflict management is been done to the utmost ability. The conflict has been resolved, and there is the performing stage. And after the performing stage, there is the end stage. Project comes to an end, or the morning stage. So this stage sometimes becomes a bittersweet because all the team members, they may move on to various kinds of new endeavors or new projects within the company or maybe to some other company. So this particular stage is known as the adjourning or the morning stage. Okay, right. So now to the end of this slide, to conclude, why these all the stages are important, why we need to understand these stages, because understanding this stage help the marketers or the marketing personals or the or company officials to navigate the challenges and dynamics of the group development. Okay, to understand the challenges which lies in the group development, particularly in the organizational Indian organizational setting. Okay, so if we are going to understand this stage, then what happens that we can foster a greater cohesion. We can foster a greater cohesion, and subsequently, the productivity level can be increased, and success can come into the organization. We can achieve the success in the organizational aspect and also in the personal aspect. Okay, so now with this we have come to the end of the slide, and I believe all of you have understood. But however, if you have any doubt, please jot down and we'll discuss in the next class. Okay, thank you very much.